Look, do you actually think Incognito Mode is keeping your secrets? I hate to break it to you, but your ISP just logged that DNS request before the page even loaded. See, most of you believe that hitting a shortcut and turning your browser window dark creates some kind of private tunnel where your deepest curiosities just vanish into the ether. It is a brilliant marketing lie. And honestly, we have all bought into it. I mean, whilst your browser is dutifully refusing to save your cookies or local history, your internet service provider is just sitting there at the gateway watching every single packet leave your house. Think of your ISP as a silent observer at a digital toll booth. You might be wearing a mask inside your car, right? But the operator still sees exactly which exit you took, and they know exactly how many times you've driven this route today. They know when you are checking your crypto wallet in a total panic at 3 in the morning, and they definitely saw that frantic search for health anxieties you were too embarrassed to mention to a real person. Look, every request leaves a digital breadcrumb. We are operating under the illusion of secrecy, but the reality is far more daunting. The infrastructure beneath us is quite literally logging your life in plain sight, turning your private intent into a permanent line of metadata on a server you will never, ever see. This is not a glitch in the system. It is how the system was designed to work. You see, you are not the customer of your ISP. You are the source of their most valuable data stream. And that private mode button? Well, it's nothing more than a placebo for the modern age. Look, we were sold a dream of the internet as a neutral utility. A simple, dumb pipe, just delivering bits like your water company delivers gallons. You pay for the connection, you use it how you like, and the provider stays out of your business. Brilliant, right? Except that pipe has grown eyes. Whilst we were all obsessed with speed and fiber optics, the ISPs were quietly transforming from silent couriers into active interceptors. They've shifted the entire architecture of the web from a utility to a panopticon. And most of us, we didn't even notice the switch. This transition relies on a process called deep packet inspection, or DPI. To understand this, I want you to imagine the postal service. In a neutral world, the postman looks at the address on your envelope and drops it in the right slot. But with DPI, the postman is opening the envelope. He's reading your letters, taking detailed notes on your interests before sealing it back up and sending it on its way. It is a sophisticated, invasive, and entirely legal man-in-the-middle attack. You are quite literally paying a monthly subscription for the privilege of being monitored. It starts with DNS hijacking. See, every time you type a website name into your browser, you're asking a digital phone book for directions. By default, that phone book is owned by your ISP. They don't just give you the address need, they log the request. They're building a chronological map of every digital interest you've ever expressed. But they aren't just seeing where you go. They are mapping the fingerprint of your entire life. Through traffic analysis, your ISP can identify the unique heartbeat of every smart device in your home. They can tell when your smart fridge is low on milk or when your security camera detects motion simply by looking at the patterns of data packets leaving your router. They know when you're home, they know when you're sleeping, and they know what brands you prefer. And the kicker? They do all of this without ever seeing the encrypted content of your files. They are capturing the metadata of your existence. And trust me, that is far more valuable than the data itself. But here's the daunting part. Having the data is one thing. Selling it to the highest bidder in an unregulated marketplace, that's something else entirely. And as I found out, the people buying your soul, whispering, they aren't who you think they are. Look, you probably think your internet service provider is just auctioning off your interests to help some sneaker brand hit you with ads for trainers you'll literally never buy. Cynical. Honestly, I wish it were that simple. In reality, the buyers are far more clinical and far more dangerous. We're talking about risk assessment firms, the shadow architects of the modern economy, and right now, they are obsessed with your digital twin. Think of this twin as a ghost version of yourself, made entirely of metadata. Urgent. Whilst you're just living your life, this ghost is being fed every single timestamp and every connection duration your router logs. Look, if I have access to your metadata, I don't actually need to read your private emails to know exactly who you are. If your logs show you're consistently active at 3 a.m. on medical forums or high-interest loan sites, your digital twin is instantly labelled as high risk. This is where the mystery turns into a bloody massive nightmare, right? This data is being sold to insurance companies to predict your long-term health, or to banks to gauge your creditworthiness before you even step foot through their doors. It's algorithmic gatekeeping at its most cynical. You are being judged by a version of yourself that you didn't even know existed, based on patterns you didn't even realise you were creating. These firms take the raw materials of your digital life and turn them into a score that determines if you can afford a home or if your health premiums will skyrocket next year. It's an invisible trial happening in real time, sold to the highest bidder on the data broker market whilst you sleep. You're being profiled, packaged and processed by systems that value your metadata more than your actual humanity. But as daunting as this digital twin sounds, it's actually only one part of the pipeline. Because when this metadata leaves the hands of legitimate corporations and slips into the cracks of the unregulated web, things get truly dark. I started looking into where this data goes when the primary buyers are finished with it. And that, mate, is when I stumbled upon a repository that should not exist.
This brings us to a, quite frankly, sobering reality. One that most of us just choose to ignore while we're enjoying those lightning-fast downloads. See, your ISP, it's the final choke point. It doesn't matter how many privacy extensions you've installed or how many times you clear your cache. If you're using their default hardware, if you're using their DNS, they see every single heartbeat of your digital life. Whispering, it's the ultimate surveillance bottleneck. Look, I've actually seen these metadata logs, and they are, quite literally, a digital mirror of your psyche. I mean, it's not just a list of websites, right? It's a map of your behavior, your health concerns, your political leanings, even your financial status. So I have to ask you, is that 1 gigabit fiber speed actually worth the total erosion of your inner life? As we move toward this future of total connectivity, where every device in your home is constantly chatting with a remote server, the ISP remains the inescapable gatekeeper of your digital autonomy. If you want to keep even a shred of privacy, I'd argue you have to stop trusting the network entirely. We're reaching a stage where you need to embrace, a zero-trust personal network architecture. This isn't just some fancy jargon for corporate servers anymore, mate. It's a survival strategy for the modern web. It means implementing encrypted DNS through protocols like DNS over HTTPS. It means using a robust, independently audited VPN that does not keep logs. It means quite literally
treating your own home router as a hostile device. We are effectively surrendering our souls to the machine, just for the sake of a bit of convenience. You have to decide if you're going to keep letting these corporations package your existence for the highest bidder, or if you're going to start cutting off their visibility. The choice is yours. But the window to act is closing, whilst these systems of surveillance get more sophisticated by the hour. I want to know, have any of you actually bothered to check your own router logs lately? It's a bloody massive rabbit hole that you might genuinely regret falling down. But it's one you absolutely need to see. Drop a comment and let me know what you found, or if you've already started building your own ZeroTrust setup. If you think this deep dive was worth your time, consider staying tuned for more. I'll see you in the next one.